Hello and welcome to International Full Scope Timeline Hangout number 74, pre-recorded again. I hope to do another live hangout or two at some point. I've got an enormous backlog. I may, over the next few weeks, do a whole series of them just to clear the backlog. But this is a slightly unusual hangout, because on December 7th I received an email from a young woman in Bend, Oregon. It's usually considered against internet protocol to recite, to read other people's emails, confidential, but well, I've never been one for protocol. This is from Kambria Armstrong. Hello, it's headed full scope allegations timeline. Hello, my name is Kambria Armstrong and you have a link about me on your website. As you know, this article was originally posted through the Bend Bulletin, but my name has since been taken out of the article. I was in a very dark time in my life when I falsely accused those men of rape. I have since gotten sober, made amends, gone to school, and have turned my life around. Your website still pops up on a Google search of my name, which makes it very hard for me to move forward with my life. Since the original article no longer has my name, I would like to politely ask you to take it down. I respect your right to freedom of speech and understand why you have your website in the first place. I understand if you'd like to keep the article up on your website, but ask that you please remove my name and update the PDF to the current article in which my name has been omitted. If you have any questions about my sincerity about this issue, please do not hesitate to reach out. Current article, there's a link. And thank you in advance, Kambria Armstrong, full stop. Here is a screen grab of her email so you can see that it's genuine. I thought very carefully before publishing this, and I hope shortly to make myself clear as to why I did it. Sorry about the creaking table. I keep saying that. Right, here is the actual article. It says it's been redacted. The new version, her name's been redacted, but Shane Morgan's hasn't. Shane was the principal accused. The Newsbank version still contains her name. You can read this on the timeline. There are 3 entries for September 20th, 2017. Hers is the first one. The actual entry reads, at Bend, Oregon, Kambria Armstrong accuses Shane Morgan of beating her and other crimes. Morgan is arrested, but it soon becomes clear that he is not the first man she is falsely accused, and she may in fact be a serial false rape accuser, as well as a head case. Here is a report from the local press. And here is the report from the local press. The Bulletin, serving Central Oregon since 1903. February the 9th, 2018, updated the following day. DA, ex-Bend man innocent in highest profile sex case. Shane Morgan not close to being guilty of forcing girlfriend into sex work. There's a photograph of the two of them. He's quite a handsome dude, if I say so myself. I wouldn't mind looking like that when I was his age. Apart from the tattoos, of course. No tattoos. Sorry about the creaking table. Shane Morgan and Kambria Armstrong in summer 2017. They were once a couple in Bend until Armstrong accused Morgan of sex crimes. The Deschutes County prosecutor now calls Morgan innocent. Shane Morgan / submitted photo. 5 months ago, Shane Morgan's mugshot was all over the news. His face, solemn and pale, ran along stories headlined Bend man accused of forcing teen into sex work, and court records detailed deranged illegal relationship. Morgan, 22, had been arrested by Bend police on suspicion of 2 counts of first-degree kidnapping, a crime that carries a minimum sentence in Oregon of 7 years and 6 months. Additionally, he was charged with sexual coercion and assault constituting domestic violence. The fallout was swift and severe, he told the Bulletin through his lawyer, Jamie Gerlitz. He lost a job, his roommates kicked him out, he felt scared everywhere he went. But it became clear the stories told by Morgan's accuser, Kambria Armstrong, were not believable. At the end of the day, I was not confident this alleged victim was credible, said Deschutes County District Attorney John Hummel, who dropped all charges against Morgan last month. He was innocent. We couldn't find him close to being guilty. Armstrong had moved from Arizona to Bend to live with an uncle's family. Gerlitz provided documentation to the district attorney that Armstrong had accused the uncle of rape and was subsequently living with her grandfather. She met Morgan through Tinder. He was living in Bend with his mother and sister. Armstrong soon moved in too. On September 20th, Armstrong called police to report Morgan had repeatedly beat her and had been forcing her to perform sex acts on a live streaming website for tips, which he was keeping. She told Officer Cynthia Kazensulak that Morgan had controlled all of her money throughout their 4-month relationship. She claimed Morgan rarely let her leave his side. She claimed he'd been trying to separate her from her family. To this end, she claimed he'd forced her to make the rape allegation against her uncle, Gerlitz said. She described months of brutal beatings and degradation by Morgan, whom she claimed kept a pistol on himself at all times. The Bulletin and other media ran detailed stories about his arrest based on Armstrong's statements to police. But Morgan caught one lucky break early on in his case. He was assigned public defender Jamie Gerlitz. In this case, the defence attorney took her job seriously and dug in, Hummel said. Gerlitz has been practising law since 2005. She said she's never seen a case like this. She was encouraged after talking with Morgan's mother and sister, who both provided accounts that matched his denials. She also knew Armstrong had filed false reports of rape in the past. Plural. With 6 separate police interviews and months of phone records to sort through, Gerlitz knew she had a lot of fact-checking ahead of her. And with Morgan's first hearing weeks away, she knew she had to work fast. She praised her opposing counsel, Deputy District Attorney Matthew Nelson, for promptly turning over discovery documents and allowing her to delay the grand jury process until she'd sorted through all of the many police reports in the case. On one hand, there was the victim, who was compelling, and on the other, we had 3 individuals who were telling the same story, Gerlitz said. Nelson and I were in line in terms of figuring out who was telling the truth. She set about furiously typing transcripts and applying it to a spreadsheet. Cambria's story was different in major ways every time she told it, Gerlitz said. Finally, Armstrong's phone records were released. What Gerlitz found was astonishing. Evidence of an outrageous setup, she says. I won't go any further. A little bit here. Melissa Armstrong said she still believes her daughter completely. She said she personally saw the signs of abuse on her daughter's body, including dramatic weight loss when she returned to Arizona. Yeah. That's. I mean, you can read the entire story, the entire article on the website. So she says she's made amends, turned her life around, and she wants to get on with it. What about Shane Morgan? She made amends to him. She apologised for the false allegations. She apologised for the false allegation against her uncle. And she apologised to Shane for claiming he put her up to making that false allegation. No. It's all me, isn't it? Now, I'm not saying she shouldn't be allowed to go on with her life. I have actually made redactions to the false fact timeline. I had several requests, mostly from men who've been falsely accused of rape. They want to, if I were accused of rape and thoroughly acquitted, I would kind of want that to be out there, But generally speaking, men don't. I had one request from a man who wanted the name of his sister redacted. Well, he wanted it removed, but I redacted it eventually. The other men, I've done sort of partial redactions. I've taken their names off the timeline. This is a young woman who, okay, she's had what they call mental health issues, but it's never none of her fault. Nothing is ever her fault. Women are always blameless. She told her mother that it was all lies. No, I'm not unsympathetic, but Kambria's problems, you know, she's young and relatively attractive. I just don't want her to fall into. I just don't want another man to fall into her clutches, so to speak. And if her name does come up in Bend or Arizona, guys will tread a little carefully. Is she going to have to live with this for the rest of her life? Well, I've had to live with my antecedents. When I was young, when I was 18, 19, I picked up an addiction, put it that way. I'm not going to go into detail here, but my life is an open book. You'll find hints and indeed discussions on my main website, Euphotex Manuscripts. But it came to a head in 1983, not for the first time, but for, put it this way, I nearly jumped in the river, literally. And I decided against it, and I'm still here. I spent some time in prison. When I came out, I had virtually nothing. Haven't got much now, but I've got this computer and I broadcast to the world, to those who will listen. And it's difficult for, you know, I did. Let me put it this way, I never did anything that could land anyone in jail for 10 or 15 or 20 years or life like she did. But I stole money. I lied to people. I did a lot of things I'm not proud of. And it was only in 1983, August 1983, that I faced up to it. I took ownership of it. You can blame problems on addiction or mental health issues. This is a great one, isn't it, for false allegations, false accusers. The woman had mental health issues. Well, no. I won't bore you with a dissertation on the non-existence of mental illness, but you should check out the works of Thomas Sars and Peter Breggin. You know, people do bad things. They have to pay for them when they're brought to book. Now, that doesn't mean there isn't room for compassion and mercy, but people do bad things. They should pay. And what has she paid? She hasn't spent a day in prison. And they say it's me. I'm a woman. Look at me. She could have trashed this guy's life. She may well have trashed it because his name's still out there. And, you know, anytime he meets a young woman, finds his name on, not necessarily on my website, but on a local news site or just gossip. You know, no smoke without fire. Usually people don't stop to ask who created all this smoke and for what reason. So, and of course, if he's ever accused of rape or even anything mildly sexual, he'll have this against him. So, no, Kambria, I'm not removing your entry from the False Hope timeline. No intention of doing that. You have problems. I had problems. Well, I'm 66 now. I've got maybe 3 or 4 years left. Probably not much more than that because I've never had great health. But I've done what I can to make the world a better place, even if it's brought me contempt at times. but I speak the truth. I've published a lot, not just on the Full Scope Timeline, but all sorts of subjects exposing lies and liars. And you, my dear young lady, are a liar. So, no, I'm not removing your name from the Full Scope Timeline. I'm not removing any false accuser for a bit. And as a result of your request, you've got this video as well now. It's your burden to bear. I've had mine. Lots of people do. I'm not claiming to be unique. Lots of men and women, well, not so much women, but men who've done bad things or even been convicted of bad things they didn't do. You know, it isn't easy. And it's relatively easy for young, attractive women. Won't be quite so attractive as you get older. But no, I don't believe you're the slightest bit sorry for what you did. I don't believe you made amends, and you should get on with your life. But you know, if it's if this truth is out there, then you know, too bad. It's something you have to live with. Most of us have to live with some unpleasant truths in our lives, if not serious as that. So that's the end of it. I'll probably make another. I'm working on a long video at the moment, an unrelated subject, but I'll try to do at least one more of these before Christmas. Catch up with the backlog, potpourris, and maybe, just maybe, a live hangout. Sorry, Kambria, but that's the way the cookie crumbles, or doesn't in your case.